What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the vlogs, and today we're kind of throwing it back to the Mustang days because we are going to be upgrading a head unit, but this time for a 13th gen F-150. This is actually the owner of the Mustang now, but this is his daily driver. This is his 13th gen F-150, and it does have CarPlay. It is a Lariat with nice leather interior. I believe this is an 8-inch, and we're going to be upgrading to an OEM Plus unit that will transform this into the new style 12-inch screen. Just like we did for the Mustang, I will have a discount code for you guys, so check the description, use that link. It helps the channel out and it also helps you guys out. This is what we're going to be installing, and this thing is just like my truck. I mean, we're going to transform his entirely. We're even going to swap over his HVAC controls, and this is an OEM Plus style mod. Now the next part is really just taking out what's existing in there, which really isn't that hard. You just gotta be careful of your clips and interior pieces. If you do mess this up, you'll be installing new ones, and they already have brand new push pins, so typically these will get stuck in your old interior and you have to pull them out. But other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you're just gonna pull out what's in there, put in what's new, and then all the like electronics that are OEM, you just transfer over. So the next thing we got to do here is kind of the nerve-wracking part, because you never want to mess up your truck, but we got to pull apart this interior, and I'm going to do a quick Google and make sure that this is the right step here. But I think you have to actually pull this entire center console out, and then this will be able to come out with it. Tools for this job are going to be a bunch of pry tools and a 7mm, but first piece that we need to take out is this one, which has his speaker in it, which you just pry up on. Then there's two 7mm in the back. Then from there, we'll be able to pull up this entire tray that you can see the line of right here. So we're gonna pull up this section. After that, there's another set of two 7mm. That should allow us to pull this out. And then we should be able to unplug everything, pull out the screen, and we have to figure out how to take these off, because this will replace these vents as well. Everything's all taken apart. Honestly, these clips are not too bad. This one's just like an ECU plug if you've ever used one of those. This one was really the toughest. You might think it's this tab here that's sticking out. It's actually that little textured piece right there. So reach a little bit deeper, you'll feel that. That's what she said. Now I think we're gonna go to the table and start swapping things over. T15 to break off the cover, and then now we're gonna start swapping over the circuit board. You do wanna be careful though, or at least be aware, you do have different length screws. Even though they're all T15, you will be putting them in different areas that are different lengths. Length of screws might seem daunting, but TJ actually just found a really good tip, which is the longer ones will go in these little yellow holes. So you'll see that on the circuit board, at least for this one and this year. So put those 16mm here on the yellow and 10mm next to it, which you'll see all along here. But these ones are really close. It's literally just offset a little bit, but the longer one goes in the yellow. We're honestly cooking on this. I will say that the company themselves has an installation video, and we just watched it. Very well done. Probably, honestly, one of the best installation videos I've seen as far as online parts and everything, because it's well lit, it's the right pace, and it just focuses on all the things you got to do. We're just doing this and kind of shortcutting it because we didn't want to play around with that ribbon cable, so we're doing it all together. We do still have a little bit more interior to pull apart. That's like our scariest piece. I thought this was going to be kind of scary, but really it's these plastic pins. I just do not want to break it on his truck. But the other side of this is that we are going to be putting in brand new trim. The thing that you'll have to transfer over from the old unit is the actual sync unit. So this is what the brain is of sync. This is just your display. So you're going to disconnect the blue there. Display here, that's the old 8-inch. And we're gonna put that on their new bracket. This is the orientation. You really can't mess it up because there's only 3 and it is clocked a certain way. But they're reverse threaded. We might need to put shorter ones on there. We'll see if that's gonna make interference. But TJ has already put all of these pieces together. You again just wanna make sure the links are the right way. We kept it all together so we didn't have to mess with that ribbon cable. We just propped everything up because these dials and knobs will have to get kind of, I don't know, they'll be offset. They stick out. The only thing that we have left is this back panel, which makes a lot of sense because you can see the hole for the clips, or sorry, for the plugs on the backside. Now we're gonna mount everything up so that way it's solid, and then it should stay together because right now this thing's kind of flimsy. There's about 3 little screws holding it and it's all plastic. This will add some rigidity so that way you can really turn your AC up and down as hard as you want to. Inside the truck, because the next piece is pulling more interior. We already popped this one out, pretty simple there. But now we need to move his outlets, we need to move his trailer backup assist, and we need to move over his four-wheel drive. All the interior pieces are transferred over, so these are the outlets. This is your locker or four-wheel drive, and then we also have the trailer backup if your truck is equipped with that. You do not have to have that. There is a block off plate. We did not install it quite yet as far as this into the little hole, because in their video they do that once everything's put together and they just leave the plug here. Maybe you have to do that, maybe not. We're just gonna follow their lead, and now I think we're good to start putting in the new part of the brain, which has a mount, and then we can put in the whole new screen, and then we do all the jumper connections, which seem to be color coded because blue and teal. There's your blue, there's your teal. Talking about the OEM plusness of this mod, the one by my thumb, this little piece, that is the block off plate. This is TJ's OEM interior panel piece. You can see that those silvers or grays are very close. Like to the naked eye, you probably wouldn't ever notice a difference. It might be a little different, like a little bluer, but honestly, because you're putting in a whole new surround with new vents and everything, you're not really gonna notice the difference. You might be seeing this clip twice, but one of the things on this sheet of instructions is that you need to update from Sync 3 to Sync 3.4. TJ's truck is just Sync 3, so now at this stage, we are needing to update that. You can do it via USB. I'm not gonna make a whole video about how to update sync because there are videos already out there that are really good about this. Assuming this just would go here.
Yep, it just goes right on the factory.
Yeah, and then that will just stick out further.
Yep, 100%.
I think that big boy is this.
I bet you that one goes there and that one goes there.
This is the splice into it.
Yep. So where does it? Oh, this goes to the back of the head unit. There's that white plug.
That's what it is. Oh yeah, that's good. And this one.
It's nice they make that nice and long.
Yeah, they do.
The factory one is a little short.
That one will have to get up closer, but that's fine. Let me do the HVAC first. Oh, that's also very short. Yeah.
Squeeze it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
The harness was just hung up a little bit. Before we click it in, we should probably test it.
Agreed.
Just to see and make sure it works.
So that's what he said.
Okay.
If it has an issue, you unplug it and replug it. Expected as a potential possibility. So we're gonna actually go ahead and fix that. It's been about a week and a half or so, and TJ did have some updates, and we reconnected so that way we could share them with you, because I think it's really important to show the real life usage of this, and because it's not my truck, I wanted to hear it directly from the owner. The first thing that he had to do was update to Sync 3.4 from Sync 3, and that was a bit of a fiasco. I'll let him go into detail about that, because there are some nuances that you should know about. Make sure you do that update first before attempting this install, because without it, you're just gonna be delayed.
Like Jacob was saying, I had to update from the Sync 3 to 3.4. There's tons of videos online on how to do this, so we don't need to get too in depth, but there was one step that I ran into an issue with that wasn't in the videos, and I just felt it's a point that I should make in case you're dumb like me and don't read the instructions. When you watch the videos, it tells you to install the app and enter in your VIN, all your stuff like that. The first thing you need to do when you go to hit download the update to the USB, it'll download a singular file that almost takes up no space. And basically what it wants you to do is, after that file downloads, you take the USB out, you go to your truck, you plug it in, you follow the steps of the video, plug it in, it'll say updating. It takes maybe 3 seconds. Your screen will shut off, restart, whatever it does. Nothing will change, screen won't change, it'll still be the same. But what you do is you pull this back out, you go back into your computer, plug it back in. It's basically checking if your truck is My 20 safe. I have no idea what that means, but that's just what Scion Labs says on their app. Once you plug it in and it says, yes, it's safe, then you can once again hit start the download. and then it'll start downloading. Just make sure you have enough space. You don't want to corrupt it halfway through. And then, yeah, you go plug it in just like the videos say, and you're all good. So that's pretty much it.
So yeah, there's a couple tips and tricks along the way for that, but I'll have the video that TJ used down below so that way you can reference that, as well as a link to a good flash drive. I might put the same one we have on there, but like you said, just make sure it's at least 64 for peace of mind, and to be honest, they're cheap enough. We're gonna head inside the truck, click around, and actually show you what the UI looks like, and then what the experience has been using this over the past few weeks.
So it's been about a week and a half since we did the install. Everything's been going great. I haven't really had any issues. I did have one small thing where on like the first day or two I had it just every once in a while, maybe like once every hour, it would just skip just real quick. It would just like skip this, not skip the song, but skip a part of the song. But after about a week or so, I haven't had it happen again. So I think it was just maybe like it trying to learn itself from the update or something. But so far it's been great. I haven't had any issues. We'll go ahead and start it, but I do want to say when I did the sync update, it updated my UI to a Lincoln UI. So when I started, it says Aviator on the screen. I've heard that you can change it with Forescan. I don't know why mine specifically is Lincoln. Some guys didn't have that issue, but I have heard other guys have gotten Lincoln. So I don't know if it's something with the update. Oh, we didn't get the startup screen.
The one time we try to show you, it doesn't get the Lincoln, so it might do this for you actually.
Yeah, it just gets some clouds and Aviator pops out at the bottom. But doing this radio doesn't add any features to what you already have because it uses your original APIM and all that stuff. It basically just gives you the larger screen. So these trucks come factory with wired CarPlay. I have a wireless adapter, which you can get for like 30 bucks on Amazon. I could probably send that to Jacob so he could include it if you guys want it. So this is the Lincoln UI I was telling you about. Everything works exactly how it should. Your climate is on here, and it does work and adjust properly. There's nothing that doesn't work. You got your phone, your standard maps, which I guess takes you back to CarPlay. Your settings, you got your sound adjustment. Everything works exactly the same. I don't have anything adjusted on here because Samsungs have a factory EQ in the phones, so I just have my EQ off of that. This is kind of what I was saying, where you just get Lincoln instead of Ford. It's all the same apps, but it's just they're labeled as Lincolns now. But you can go through any of them. I mean, there's nothing that doesn't work on this radio. I've been messing around with it. When I did the update, it did like reset all of my settings, so I had to go back through. If you have certain features that are on or off or whatever, I did have to go back through and reactivate them. But I haven't noticed any issues, anything that doesn't work the way it should work.
All fairness for this head unit, my factory Bronco and F-150 14th gen with that 12-inch screen from factory, it'll randomly kick me off CarPlay, and I'm sure it's just a CarPlay issue because I see every make and model has this issue with CarPlay, which leads me to believe it might be something with our phones. Like he has a Samsung, I have an iPhone. I think sometimes they run software so quickly and update so quickly that it can do that to it. As far as fit and finish goes, honestly, this looks very OEM. Everything does match up really well. No weird gaps or anything like that. It does match this trim. We had that piece in the video where I overlaid it and you could see the difference, but from the passenger seat, it honestly matches really well. A little bit of chrome here. Maybe this chrome isn't as shiny as this chrome, but that's about it. And the vents work, holds the air going or points the air the right way. Honestly, very OEM. Of course, these are all from the OEM unit. You just transfer it over and everything works. And that's all you can really ask for because it updates the look and feel of this truck, gives you much larger screen real estate. And if you put it in reverse, it even makes the reverse camera bigger. You're still limited by the quality of whatever camera you're using, but it at least makes the screen bigger and the viewable area a lot larger. Just like that, you guys can see we have that whole new head unit installed, and it really updated the interior. Also, a little bit of a review there so that way you guys can see what the day-to-day experience is like. And honestly, the owner has nothing bad to say. I've had head units in the past where they're super glitchy and laggy, and that one really seemed just like OEM. This car is something new to the channel because I sold the Corvette and now we're building a BMW. So hopefully get some more content coming on this very soon. For everything we've talked about, all the links will be down below so that way you guys can reference them. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please comment, like, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.